Sit down for this piece of shit. Hello. Welcome back. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of talking about a game that I really liked or grew up with playing, so it was coated in delicious nostalgia, we're going to go in the other direction. We're going to talk about a game that is a huge, massive, epic pile of shit. Absolute garbage. Shit garbage. A dumpster fire for the ages. Dog shit. Diarrhea Island. Superman. Today we're going to talk about Superman. The New Superman Adventures. Also known as Superman 64. Also known as a huge, massive piece of shit. God, this game sucks. It's like amazing how much it sucks. Like, it's actually amazing. So this game was released by Titus Interactive. It was the first 3D Superman game. So it was kind of a milestone. But it was also a milestone in shit. It was released in 1999. Before we get into the massive dumpster, shitstorm, diarrhea factory that is Superman 64, we're going to talk about Titus Interactive a little bit. Let's get to know them before we get to know what they just shit into our hands. And we're like, hey, it's a game. Titus is a French software publisher that started in 1985. They started on like the Atari, the Amiga, PC, then they moved on to like console games, blah 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 blah. You know, they make games. This company, surprisingly enough, made a few games that got positive reviews. Hey, look at that. So it's not all bad, right? This company had 5 acquisitions, including Interplay and Virgin Interactive. They filed for bankruptcy in 2005 with over $43 million of debt. Yes. And all the rights went to Interplay. So they still technically exist, but not as Titus. Interplay, that's about it, honestly. They not too big of a company. It was a smaller company, made a handful of games, acquired other companies, and then died. It's kind of the circle of life in the gaming world. That's enough about Titus. Let's get on to this massive piece of shit. Superman 64 isn't actually the title. It's just what it got referred to because it was just called Superman. The case just says nothing. It's Superman. It's literally just Superman holding his fucking shirt open. Like, hey, look at my tits. Except it's Superman, so it's an S. And then they actually added the title Superman 64 later on in one of the other releases. Poor bastards. The story for this game is Lex Luthor makes a simulation of Metropolis. He traps Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and Professor Hamilton in the simulation. And then he's like, hey, go into the simulation. So, of course, because you're Superman, and you're a goody little two-shoe, you go into the simulation to help him. Instead of just like punching a hole through Lex. But sadly, Superman is lawful good. Boring. You go into the simulation, and because Lex Luthor is so devious, the most despicable villain ever, he makes you fly through rings. Oh! What?
Rings?
Yeah, you fly through rings. The tutorial mission, you fly through rings. Yeah, you fly through fucking rings. Rings? This isn't Sonic. Wait, old Sonic games were fun, not the new ones. So why the actual fuck would a villain take the time to make a simulation so that Superman goes in it, cause
you're a goody little two-shoe,
and make you fly through fucking rings. Ooh, mad evil genius alert. fuck you. Company parties, they're probably like, oh, don't go near him. He's a fucking madman. He made Superman fly through rings after going into a simulation. Couldn't he just delete the simulation and win? Oh, fucking so stupid. After the nightmarish, fly through rings, oh my god, level, tutorial, you are left with constant escort missions, defuse the bomb missions. Hey, there's a stupid maze, even though you're fucking Superman, you can fly through walls, because you know it's a simulation, so who gives a shit? Get it done, get out of there. No, you're surrounded with puzzles, where you're carrying things, where you're like a regular person, where you walk like slow as actual shit, rolling down a slight hill, just like... Actually, no, that's a little faster. So, you're surrounded with puzzles and time limits, and you're fucking Superman, and nothing. Absolutely nothing. You're just like, hey, I'm gonna walk around these little tight corridors, solve this stupid puzzle, and then go into the next fucking stupid level, solve that stupid puzzle. Cool. And then, guess what? There's more rings levels. Oh my god! Lex is a fucking madman. And one of the missions is 10 minutes long. 10-minute fly through rings level. Who wouldn't want that? It's games like this that make me sad. Oh, it's so bad. I hate it so much. It just makes me sad that I know this exists. Final fight of the game, you fight Brainiac, and he kinda just stands there. His name is Brainiac, and he just fucking stands there like a dumbass. And then, after that, after the worst puzzle in the world, because you randomly just drop fucking dead, you just die. There's not like traps, or people shooting at you, or anything like that. You just die randomly because the game is a buggy, hot, garbage piece of shit. So at the end, you're all gonna leave the simulation like a happy, stupid family of boring assholes. And you are warned that the real Lex is still outside of the simulation. Oh my god, of fucking course he is. Oh my god, you idiot. Wow, the real Lex is still out there. Great information. What else fucking happened? Yeah, that's literally the entire story. That's it. Story over. This game did include some voice acting from the Superman animated series, which is cool. People like that cartoon. I didn't really give a shit about. I don't really care about Superman. He's not up there in my give a shit. So they had some of the voice acting from the cartoon. The only problem is, it was kind of like a waste, because you just get little like, haha.
In short time, your fate will be sealed, Superman.
You get like little sound bites that you hear over and over and over and over again. Because this game is a piece of shit.
Then there's no time to waste.
So you're gonna hear the same
Then there's no time to waste.
6 sound bites
Then there's no time to waste.
over and over again. Let's talk about the real issue of this game. So one of the heads of Titus Interactive, Eric Eric C. He had an interview with, I'm gonna add the name here because I don't fucking remember. Yeah. So he did an online email interview, which is a thing apparently. He said that a lot of what they wanted to do was fucked up by the licensors. So like DC Warner Brothers, who licensed the game out to Titus Interactive, he said that they cut a lot of what they wanted to do. Which sucks, but there's gotta be more to it. So all of the blame went to DC Warner Brothers. He said because of political reasons, they kept changing shit in the game. Eric also said that what they wanted to do was way too ambitious for what the 64 could handle. So don't make it. Don't make it for 64. You're blaming the hardware that you're making the game for, and the company that you're being licensed and paid by. So what the fuck? Point the blame at everyone else? So the reason this game takes place in a simulation, Eric said that Warner Brothers wanted it in a simulation so it wasn't like real people. So Superman doesn't run up and like punch someone and they fly away and it's not a real person. Even though it's a fucking 64 game, the game already looks like a fucking cartoon. Who cares? Video games are supposed to be like freedom. Like it's a real escape from real life. It should be cartoony as fuck. Unrealistic nonsense. The jump towards realism, like it's cool and all. It's like you play a game like Detroit Become Human, but the characters in the game look so fucking real. It's creepy. But then you make a crazy game where shit's super unrealistic and people are like, this game isn't realistic. I'm waiting for like, when is Neil deGrasse Tyson just gonna get so bored and start looking at video games? He'd be like, actually, the physics of this game is like, who cares? It's a fucking game. Like, it's cool that like, oh man, these physics are so realistic. But it's supposed to be fun. You play games to escape real life. Because real life is fucking tragic. It's fucking terrible. People you meet on any daily interaction are just so like self-absorbed and like fucking up their own ass that they're like, everything is for me. And it's not. No, everything's for everyone. Stop being such a fucking asshole, you selfish piece of shit. Tangent over. I know like Superman's character is always like, do stuff for good. I don't punch holes in people because I'm so good. I know it's like to keep the story going, and I'm just being a dick. Awareness. Fully aware of that. So, wouldn't it like morally be better for all of Metropolis if Superman like grew like some balls for like 3 seconds, punched like Lex's head off, and then they just wouldn't have to deal with his problems for a while? Like, I know he's not the main villain for like all of Superman. He's like one of the primary ones, but like, couldn't he just be like, hey, for the greater good, I punch his head off, and then I just don't have to deal with this bullshit ever again. Ever again. Isn't that for the greater good?
Shut it!
Can't you just like have someone cut the brakes? God, just cut his brakes, make it look like an accident. You're fucking Superman. Just heat ray his car, and then he drives into a pole and you're like, oh my god, Lex Luthor drove into a pole today. News! Wasn't me. I'm fucking Superman. I wouldn't do that shit. People would believe you. So, back to the actual development. Eric also said that like the company never had to rebuild the game from the ground up. They had to like redo a bunch of things like over and over again, but they never like scrapped what they had and then restarted. Maybe that would have been a good idea, but it's just more time consuming, and then everyone loses money, and it's all about money. In the long run, it's all about money. I get it. It's a business. You gotta make money. You gotta eat. You gotta make a living. But fuck, weren't they aware that this was a huge piece of shit? So initially they had like these big ambitious plans. They wanted a great big beautiful tomorrow. They wanted a great big metropolis that you could like free roam, that you could fly over, you could just explore. The game actually takes place in 1 square mile of Metropolis. Free roam this 1 square mile! And you're Superman, so you can just be like, oh, I checked it out already, cool. With the whopping 6 whole buildings. So Eric said in the email conversation that the ring mission was only the tutorial mission. So either he has no idea what the fuck he's talking about, or he literally has no idea that the ring mission is only the beginning of the hell of the ring missions. Because Superman's at fucking SeaWorld jumping through fucking hoops. Maybe that's why Lex made the simulation. He said that because Warner Brothers made them redo so much of the game so often, they missed their deadline by 6 whole entire fucking months. And that it included 10% of what they originally planned. 10%. The game took 2 years to make. And Eric said the reason it took 2 full years was because they were constantly backtracking and refixing old stuff. He said there was a lot of like waiting for approval. That's why it took 2 years. My biggest concern isn't like the lack of story, the story that doesn't exist in this game, and how limited your superpowers are. It's what do they do while they were waiting for approval? They weren't like stomping out bugs. They weren't like trying to prove anything. Did they just sit there with their fucking thumbs up their asses? Or in each other's asses? I don't know. Whatever you're into, I don't judge. You do what you do. It makes you happy. You're surrounded by this green smog, and it limits everything. It's a draw distance. Like, I understand the 64. It's not the most powerful game console out there, but what the... Like, what the fuck were they doing? Like, I get that they were being restricted, but couldn't they, like dig deep and make the best fucking baby rescue simulator that's ever been fucking released? Or they just sit around and stare at the walls? I know that licensed games have, like, a big problem. All the shit that comes with, like, a license. Everyone has expectations. There's no way you're gonna meet the expectations. Pretty much ever. All pretty much licensed games weren't that great. Like, there were a few good ones here and there, but the majority of them were like, how did this get approved? Cash grab? Yeah, one of my biggest complaints with this email interview, that he pretty much puts all of the blame on Warner Brothers and DC limiting what they could do, and the Nintendo 64 being not so great, so he blames everything else, that they weren't able to do much. Like, honestly, I don't know what actually happened. I don't know how limited they were. If they had to freeze production while they waited for fucking approval. I don't know if they had to just sit around and wait with their thumbs up each other's buttholes. And he can't say. He did a Reddit AMA. Just ask me anything. And 90% of the questions asked were, I'm unable to talk about it. So why the fuck would you do an AMA? You should do an AMA, parentheses, except anything about the Superman development, end parentheses. Because that's all people want to know. If it's the person that is known for making that fucking game, of course people are going to want to know what happened, why it happened, if you're bullshit, if it's all because of them. I mean, we'll never know. It just seems like he passes all the responsibility, blame, too, of any of, like, the game-breaking glitches where you just fall through the fucking floor, or the horrible responsive controls where you hit the button to take off and Superman's just like this. And then you press it again, and he's like... And then you press it a third time, like, hey, is Superman on, like, a time delay? What's going on? Does he have to, like, start up his fucking Superman engine? Or just... And then you press it again, and then, oh, he finally fucking takes off. I mean, the question is, when Superman flies, he does the full, like, arms out bullshit that he does. He's like, yeah, Superman shit. And then when he turns, he goes, like, full, like, Y. He's like, yeah, I'm turning. Is it just, like, garbage animation? Because, like, the 64 is super, like, Blocktown. It just looks so fucking stupid and unnatural. And he just fucking turn fast, but he has to, like, yeah. He goes full fucking Jesus. And then slows down to take that hard left. And then he goes back to fucking full straight.
Then there's no time to waste.